All right, welcome back to the second episode. Everyone, deep breath in, hold, let it go. All right. So I thought I would take this opportunity to start off with my story, my background, a little bit of what has brought me to this point. 2006. I was 21. I was hired with the London Police Service, London, Ontario, Canada. And that was an interesting time in my life. I got married in that year. The next year, 2007. I was with London for 5 years, and 2 years as a cadet, and 3 years as a constable. And what a weird time to get hired so young, to then go and I was talking to a friend last week who came out to the cottage. We did a workout, went to the lake, had a fire. It was awesome. And we were talking how weird it is. I was like 23, 24 years old, going to these domestic calls with these people my parents' age, my grandparents' age older. And as like a young man in his 20s telling them what to do, telling them, arresting them. Like it's insane to think about taking away someone's freedom who's your parents' age because they can't get along. It just blew my mind. Anyways, it's such an interesting job that we have that you really can't describe what it feels like to anyone else. And you go through these experiences and they just become normalized over time. And it's totally not a normal thing to do. So anyways, that's my first 5 years from the time I was 21 to 27. I got hired with the London Police Department. And then I decided that I didn't want to do that, within the first 3 years. When I got hired, I loved people. I'm a pretty sensitive guy. So I love people. I loved interacting with people. I was a people pleaser. And then it was like, I don't like anybody. And that was harmful for me. That was harmful for like my soul. So I quickly decided I was going to do something else. So I was looking at becoming an insurance agent, a real estate agent, garbage man, like anything. Just so happened that I had a good friend who had just gotten hired on a fire department, and he kind of helped me through doing all the things. We moved to a small town, got on a volunteer department, took courses. I took a water rescue course, and I was away for my wife's birthday one year, which was, I'm glad it paid off, because 2011, I got hired with the London Fire Department. I spent the last 10 years, 2011 to 2021 with the London Fire Department. And then I decided that also wasn't for me. I got to a point where I didn't like it anymore. I liked it. I liked the camaraderie. I liked the hall. Like, I liked being busy, but there are certain parts about that job that it just wasn't fulfilling for me. There was also hard parts of that job that looking back now, I went through a lot of different treatments. We can talk about, in the future, we'll talk about trauma and addictions and how your brain processes this, and lack of sleep and stress. And then, going from a very stressful situation to going to nothing and like watching TV or something. Like it's really unhealthy. And I just didn't have the tools to deal with it. I did different talk therapies. I went through a bunch of different psychotherapists and psychiatrists and psychologists. I don't even know the names of what they were, but I talked to a lot of people, and I tried to access it through my work, we had an employee assistance program. And I found that, I don't know if anyone can relate. I know it's gotten a whole lot better, but I found that super frustrating, trying to like navigate this like system of like, press 1 now if you're sad. Like it was not for me. And I ended up not using that. And I just went down my own path, did my own sort of research into what I thought would work, listen to people that I had been through. Things like podcasts were super healthy. So I found on podcast I don't know which podcast it was. I found out about EMDR therapy. That was awesome for me. I found Wim Hof. I did the Wim Hof breathing, XPT guys, Laird Hamilton and PJ Nestor. Shout out to all those guys. They have apps. I did their breathing and their cold therapy, and I found that worked really well. At the end of the day, I think it's also my personality. I am like a serial entrepreneur at heart. I have ADD. I have trouble focusing on one thing for a really long time. So I decided, and I think life is too short to just focus on one thing. I think having a bunch of different careers is amazing. So I decided that we'd venture out. And since I left in 2011, we've started a couple businesses. We've moved around a couple countries, and we've done some really interesting things, met tons of interesting people. And now we're here looking to start this thing for first responders. How do we bring everything together in a way that's meant to serve a police officer, firefighter, EMS, a dispatcher, military, vets, retirees? How do we bring everything together in a super digestible manner that a first responder can go to something that's specific for them? It's not a meditation, yoga thing. It's not a super fit performance thing. It's like, how do we help each other deal with the stress? Because I think it's like, I've heard it said, it's like a sponge. It's like wringing out that sponge, and the sponge is traumatic events and stress and all those things. And if you wait for it to like completely fill up, it'll just start spilling out. But if every once in a while you can wring it out and take some of that water out, it just doesn't build up as quickly and spill over into some unhealthy habits or some catastrophic event or some meltdown or some, manic episode or all those things, right? So that is the idea here. I guess background, I said I got married in 2007, so I am happily married to my beautiful wife, Christy. I have three daughters who are 12, 10, and 6. And we are all on this crazy adventure called life, and we're getting after it. So this is the second episode. You're going to see that this is filmed in a garage that an attic of a garage that I'm currently renting. And I'm choosing to get the thing done, to put it out there. But we're going to help a ton of people who are struggling, and not just struggling, but I think we're going to help people before they struggle. So we're going to help people not just who are struggling, but we're also going to help people to live like way beyond what they thought was like their best. So that's where we're at. This is episode number 2. Welcome. I'm about to film episode number 3, so hang tight.